Hi, I'm Veera Hiranandani, and first I just want to thank you so much for choosing The Night Diary as a Judy Lopez Memorial Honor Book. I am so amazed and thrilled by this recognition. And I'm sorry that I can't be there for the event. I'm actually about to head off to India for a children's literature festival there, but have a wonderful, wonderful event. And congratulations to the other award winners. So I just wanted to tell you a few things about kind of what led me to write The Night Diary and my inspiration and sort of my process writing it. So it started many years ago. Well, I grew up hearing about my father's family's experience having to leave his home during the partition of India in 1947. He was 9. And so when I was young, I would hear bits and pieces of stories that he would tell me and my sister. I would hear some stories from my aunts and uncles. And when I was really young, it was sort of abstract to me. It was kind of this thing that happened to my father's side of the family, and they had to leave at this certain point, and I didn't really understand why, and they kind of left everything behind and had to go to this new place. And when I was really little, I almost thought that it was something that just happened to my father's family. And as I got older, I knew it had a name, the partition of India, and what does that mean? And I would ask more questions. And I just became more curious as I got older, because sometimes when you feel like parents are maybe not telling you the whole story because the partition is a difficult topic, you want to know more because you get that sense that things are maybe being hidden from you. And so a pivotal moment for me was when I saw the movie Gandhi when I was 11. And I just remember my whole family going and seeing this movie, and it's about Gandhi, and a lot of it focuses on his role in India's independence, gaining independence from British rule, and the partition, and a lot of the conflicts that came up during that time and what happened and the violence. And of course it was a big Hollywood depiction of that time, but when I watched it, it was really the first time that I understood the global magnitude of what happened, and what my father's family went through, and what so many millions of people went through. 14 million people were displaced during this time, and 1 to 2 million people died. So I started to wonder why, growing up in a small town in Connecticut, why I never heard about the partition outside of my family, and I didn't learn about it in school. So I didn't know I would grow up to be a writer, but when I did, I knew I wanted to shape a story around this time. But I was intimidated. I wasn't the best history student in the world. I'm not sort of a natural historian that kind of constantly reads about history and memorizes all these names and dates. I really need a story to kind of understand something. I need it to help me process what's happened, to help me remember certain facts and figures. So I just thought, as I became a more experienced writer, I wanted to figure out a way that I could attempt to create a story around this piece of history. And so I think I was sharing it with my mother, actually, telling her, and I had many talks with my father about the time and what he remembered and all of that for the book, but I was talking to my mom just about, can I do this? I don't know if I can kind of handle this topic. Am I going to do it justice in that way? And she sent me a quote by E.L. Doctorow that said, the historian will tell you what happened, but the novelist will tell you what it felt like. And for me, that kind of helped me focus my goal of what I was trying to do, which was to really capture how an ordinary family would experience this upheaval, this crisis, this conflict, this displacement, what it would feel like to have this happen to you, to be a refugee. And as I wrote, I didn't realize it was sort of connecting to certain things happening today. It wasn't necessarily my intention, but as I wrote, more and more things started to kind of parallel the book, and in some ways, you know, sadly, but I'm glad that those connections are there, and I'm glad that I wrote a book that young people who do have a connection in their family to this history can see it in schools, and you guys are part of that, sort of sharing this, so they can feel like other people know about this history, because there are so many lessons we can learn from it about dividing each other based on race or religion and what happens and the conflicts that come up during that time, or what it feels like to be a refugee. And so I'm really forever grateful that this book will just reach more and more people because of you. And so thank you so much, and have a wonderful event.